Hi, and welcome to this chair yoga practice on International Yoga Day here in the Charente. For today's practice, you'll need a chair, and preferably one with a flat seat as opposed to anything that curves up on the sides. And you will want to sit with your hips at about the same level as your knees. If you find that the chair's a little high and your knees are slanting downward, then just place something under your feet to bring the knees up higher. This can be a rolled blanket or a pillow or anything you have at your disposal. You'll want to place a mat underneath your chair to help prevent it from any kind of slipping. And if you're in a folding chair, please be careful, as folding chairs can fold up on you unexpectedly. And finally, you'll want a chair that doesn't have any armrests so that you have free movement. Once you are seated comfortably in your chair, we're just going to tune in to the body and see where we are in this moment. So let's take a quick snapshot here of our mental state. And instead of wanting to be calm or quiet in the mind, if it's racing, let it race. Just accept what is. So no need to change anything. We're just inviting it all to be present. And then taking a snapshot of your emotional state. So again, rather than trying to be something or feel something that you don't, that might be preferable to anything that you are feeling, just take it all in and love it all. And then let's take a physical snapshot of the body. So just noticing where you might be holding tension or pain or discomfort of any kind. And as you make that body scan, ground with your feet, spreading your toes, letting all the tissues of your feet soften and release toward the ground. Let your legs be heavy upon the seat of the chair. Feel for the sit bones and allow them to rest into the chair. And as you do, with an inhalation, allow the spine to create some space between each bone. Therefore, sitting up a little straighter, a little taller, but without forcing, without pushing and pulling the body into form. And now let's scan the breath. So just notice what your breath is doing. If you're breathing in your belly or your chest or a combination, how deeply into your body can you feel your breath? And maybe noticing that as you turn your attention toward your breath, it changes without any effort on your part. Perhaps becoming slower or deeper. Really rest and surrender into the support of the chair. Gently open your eyes if they were closed. We're going to do something called double breathing. So have your hands in light fists in front of you. We're going to open the arms with tension as we double breathe in. And then we're going to double breathe out as we bring the hands back towards the front, releasing the tension. Okay, so we'll repeat this several times. So light hands, light fists, double breath in with tension. Exhale, release. Good. Repeat this a few more times. Last time. And release. Now bring the fingertips inward towards the center of the chest, rounding the back over. And then as you breathe in, open the arms, open the chest to the front, maybe even a little back bend, slightly leading with the forehead into the space above. And then exhale and round back. So we'll be going through this movement several times. Exhaling as you round, bringing the fingertips to the sternum, opening the arms wide, fingers wide, as you open the chest, bringing the shoulder blades together. And then exhale, round forward. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. And exhale, round. Good. Last time opening. Let's hold it open. Hold the breath in and release. Relaxing the arms at the side of the body. Just noticing the effects from what we've just done. You might feel subtle sensations in the body that have changed. Maybe some aliveness through the upper body. Maybe the breath has changed. So now let's cross the arms one over the other. Holding on to the shoulders, we're going to make a twist. First, we're going to breathe in, and when you twist, twist from your middle back, not your lower back. So in order to check and make sure that you're doing this, just make sure that your knees stay forward and all of the movement comes from the upper body. As you breathe in, it's going to make that easier. So let's breathe in together. Nice and tall as you inhale, and then turn one side or the other. You don't have to go far here, and feel free to let the head follow the movement. But again, keep your knees forward, your hips are still and well grounded to the chair, and breathe here. Exhale to return to the center. Take a moment in center just to feel that side of the body and how it might compare to the other side. And let's open the arms, bending the fingers back and down, and then we'll cross the arms the other way. Breathing in nice and tall. Twisting at the top of the inhale, letting the head fall around if that's comfortable, and breathe here as you hold. Keep those hips nice and relaxed on the chair. Let the thighs be heavy. Feel the grounding through your feet. Good, and then coming back around on the exhalation, you can release your arms to your lap. Just feel, again, both sides of the body now and any sensation that you notice. So we're going to do some side bending now. And usually side bending tends to be led with the head. And we don't really want to do that because it tends to crunch the spine on top of itself. And we want to lengthen the spine and bend through the lengthening. So I'm going to show you a way to side bend that will allow you to do that. And it actually starts with the ears. So what you're going to do is you're going to let one ear lift up to the side as if you're listening for some distant sound. So just let that ear lift. And as you do, notice that the whole body, the rib cage, wants to come to that side as well. And as the rib cage moves, this hip also wants to lift from the chair. And now you see we have this side bend. And then once we have this position, we can lift an arm overhead, and this can be anywhere, wherever is comfortable for you, all the way over, and you can even deepen the bend now. So just rest here, breathe, let this side really lengthen. And then lift and release. And we'll try it to the other side. So starting with that ear, listening out for the sounds in the distance, and then letting the ribs follow, and then that hip lift. And then if you'd like to explore with this arm, even holding it down here can give quite a nice sensation through the shoulder and neck. Or you can lift that arm and kind of explore the space into which your arm can move freely and comfortably. And then you can deepen that bend if you'd like and just hold here. Breathe deeply and let that whole long side lengthen. And then reach up and come back to neutral. Now we're going to play around with this a little more, so I'm going to let you explore at your own pace, going from side to side and exploring with the arm. So you might be going faster, you might be going slower, your arm might be doing something totally different. I want you to feel free to explore. So let's just make sure we start with the ears, feel the ribs, the hip, and then we start to explore with the arm. Just notice the shape your body is in, this shortened side and the lengthened side. And again, feel free to explore or go back and forth. You might be on the other side already. One thing I really love and want to share though is that you can bring your arm behind your head and just kind of press your head into your arm and your arm into your head, and it can create a really nice sensation down the side of the body, that long side. So that's an option. And again, just feel free to keep moving as you choose, starting with the ear each time. And feel free to go faster between as you get the hang of it. You might even hold on to the chair on the one side. Back and forth, lengthening and releasing. Breathing nice and deep. Oh, feels so good. And go ahead and even up. So if you need to do one more side, take the time to do that to balance out. We'll meet just with the hands on the lap, gently noticing any feelings or sensations that have arisen as a result of that practice. So if you've ever had the opportunity to have a really good massage, you might be feeling quite similar to the way that you feel after a massage. And the somatic movement allows us to massage our own bodies from the inside out. So just notice any release of tension or a deep sensation in the muscles. So let's bring the lower body into things now. You might want to scoot a little further back in your chair, you decide. Some of you might actually be more comfortable to come to the very front of the chair. It's up to you. If you're more towards the front of the chair, we're actually going to be extending the legs, and so it might be a little more difficult the more towards the front of the chair you are. So let's bring one knee into the chest, give a little squeeze. Now you want to stay upright through the back. So I'm going to turn just so you can see what I don't want you to do. What I don't want is for you to round the back as you bring the knee in. I want you to stay nice and upright and tall so you can really feel yourself upon that sit bone. Okay? So taking that knee in, holding behind the thigh and extending the leg as much as is comfortable. You don't have to straighten the leg. You certainly don't want to lock the knee. Just kind of push forward with that heel and hold. And release it anytime if you need to. And then bring that knee back in towards the chest, nice and tall. And release. And we'll go to the other side, same thing. So bring the knee to the chest, give a little squeeze, make sure you're sitting up nice and tall and can feel that sit bone. Holding under the thigh to extend the leg, pushing forward with the heel. Hold. Bringing that knee in towards your chest, giving another little squeeze. And release. We're going to do that again. So bringing in the other knee, the first knee, towards the chest. Now you can bring the head, the forehead down to the knee. And then up. Now hold back behind the thigh, extend that leg. Hold. And bring the knee back in towards the chest. Squeeze and release. Okay, other side. Knee in nice and tight. Go ahead and bring your forehead towards your knee. Hold on to the back of the thigh, extending the leg. Hold. And then bring that knee back in, give a squeeze. And release. Good. So one more time with the knee in. So first leg, knee in and squeeze. Extend the leg. This time we're going to bring in that ankle and cross it over the other knee. So have it above your knee. Have your foot flex to protect your other knee. And It doesn't matter where this knee is in space. If it's up high because this is really tight, that's fine. So just let the leg open wherever it will. And then this might be enough for you to just sit here and feel that sensation. If you need a deeper sensation through the outer thigh, then you can start to bend forward at the hip crease. So just breathe here. We're going to give ourselves some time to let those tight muscles unwind. And that's really all they need. We don't have to push them to stretch. We just need to give them space and time. And sometimes our tendency is to go in for a really deep sensation, and the muscles actually start to fight back. And that just creates more tension in the body. We don't want that. So take it gently. Be patient. And breathe. If we treat the body with kindness, it will be so much more responsive. It's just like anything or anyone else. Feel free to go deeper if your body is inviting you into that deeper space. Take a few more deep breaths here. One more. Good, and then let's bring the body back up. If you were coming forward, open up that leg again. Bring that knee in towards the chest and squeeze and release. Okay, so just take a moment to feel that side before moving on to the other. What sensations do you notice along the back of the body? How does that leg feel? How do the joints on that side of the body feel? And now the last side, so bringing in the knee to the chest, giving a little hug, forehead to knee, and up. Holding onto the back of the leg and pressing forward. And then crossing that ankle over knee, sitting up nice and tall, allowing that leg to open wherever is comfortable. Keeping this foot flexed to protect the knee joint. And then only coming down as far through the hip crease as is comfortable towards that leg. And I've actually gone a little too far, a little too fast. And if that happens, just back up. So nice deep breaths as you give the body space and time to relax and release, to unwind and unkink. Good, and as you soften here, feel free to come deeper into it. You also might notice that the other side was more or less flexible, and that's very true for most people. So just honor that. Three more deep breaths here. Really release the tension on the exhale. Good, so we'll come out, extending that leg and bringing the knee in towards the chest with a squeeze and release. Bravo. Okay, so now I'd like to share with you something that comes from Kundalini Yoga, and it helps to remediate issues of anger, whether that anger is outwardly directed or inwardly directed, more towards resentment and those kinds of feelings, so flavors of anger. And what I'd like you to do is you're going to make fists with your hands, and you're going to be pulling your arms in two different directions. So the elbow is going to lead back behind you as the other arm opens up into the space in front of you. Now I'm just turned to the side so you can see here. And we have these connective tissues, lines of connective tissue that run all the way through the chest from arm to arm. So what I really want you to have a sense of and feel is that connection through the center of the body all the way out from arm to arm. So that's the sensation that we want. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be pushing into the space in front of us like we're boxing, okay? And just moving the arms slowly to begin and feeling how the upper body, the upper ribs, maybe the space between the shoulders, how all of that is moving together. You can have your fists either turned up or turned down and or switch, and that's going to change the sensation because it's going to activate different lines. So feel free to move as you desire in every way that feels good for you. And then we're just going to start to speed up. Now, as you do, I want you to notice that there's no extra happening here. We're not twisting. It's all through the upper arms and chest. The ribs are pretty much staying forward, and we're not twisting through the waist. And then once you find that upper body movement free of lower body movement, you can start to really speed up. And once you start to speed up and you get more comfortable with the movement, you can start what's called the breath of fire. So you're just going to breathe with the movement, in and out, in and out. And the other thing you can do is really channel your anger. Just call it up from the depths of you. Let it out. Whatever may have gotten your goat in the last day or week or month, just let that puppy go. And if the breathing is difficult for you, don't worry about it. Just breathe naturally and normally. And you can also go slower here if that's more comfortable for you. Now you might be getting tired, you might start to heat up. Just keep going if you can. As long as you're not in any kind of pain or discomfort, just push through that resistance that sometimes comes from the mind. Keep that elbow to the back high so that it's parallel to the ground rather than coming down. The other thing you can do that can be really fun, and since you're all at home, maybe you'll be more comfortable doing this, but you can just let it out through your voice as well. Have some fun with this. Just a little bit more, we're almost there. Feel free to stop if you need to, just breathe. And breathe in, bring the shoulder blades together, let the chest open, take some deep breaths here. Feel all that energy releasing and swirling. Hold the breath and release. Now rest with your hands on your lap. Ah, that felt great. I hope it felt good for you too. So you might feel a little dizzy. That's fine. That's normal, especially if you're not used to breath work like that. So just really release yourself to the chair. You can also get a drink of water if you feel dizzy, which can help alleviate that. Feel your feet connected to the ground and notice how the energy is moving through your arms, down your trunk, through your legs, into your feet. Feel alive. Okay, so we're going to open the thighs now out to the sides. So you're going to be at the edge of your chair more so now. And your feet are at an angle. Notice that my ankles are just about right under my knees. So I don't want to be here and I don't want to be here. Okay, so you want to be sturdy and standing. And from here, you're just going to place your hands over your thighs and allow one shoulder to drop forward as you press the knee on the opposite side back away from you. Even both knees really get a little bit of a push back. And then switch sides. Now here you are lengthening through the entire spine, so reach into the space above your head with the crown of your head to help give you that sense of a lengthened, reaching spine. Just going back and forth from side to side. Good, last one. And release back to center. Now, we're going to do a bend here. So bringing the forearm to one knee and allowing the body to follow so you can really rest here. But don't collapse here. You want to be nice and tall through it. And then this might be enough for you, so that's fine, stay there. If you'd like to add this arm overhead and reaching into the opposite corner, feel free. Your head can be looking forward, up at your arm, or even down at the floor. So just breathe here. Enjoy the stretch. And if you are invited or you would like to, you can open this arm and reach down towards the floor. You can also use a block here if you have one, just to bring the floor up to you if you want to go into a deeper stretch. Make sure that you're keeping both hips on the chair. So this one isn't coming up with the body, it's staying down. Good. Windmill the arms to the other side. So start on the knee. Play around with the head and discover which direction feels best for the neck. Maybe it all feels good. Hold and breathe. And don't feel like you have to be static in a pose or position. In fact, you can always make little movements to help feel even more deeply into the tissues. Now, if you want to go a little deeper, feel free here to open that arm using a block if you have one handy, or just stay on the thigh. For me on this side, the thigh is plenty. Now, we're going to reach up with the breath and exhale and just go from side to side. So we'll windmill the arms from one side to the other at your own pace, just going back and forth with the breath. In, up, out, in and out. And come up. Nice. Go ahead and walk the legs back, heeling and toeing all the way to the front. Let's take a forward fold here. So we're going to bring the legs together. So it's as if you had a zipper up between the legs to keep them closed. Now you're going to lean forward from the hips. Your sits bones may come off the chair. So I'm going to show you this from the side. So I'm right at the edge of the chair. My legs are together, and as I fall forward, I'm really quite deep here. And I'm laying the trunk on the legs and rounding over. So I'll come back to the front. Okay. So you may not come quite so deep, and that's not really important. What's important is the sensation you feel in your body. So if you want to have your hands on your thighs, that's fine, and you can stop here. Again, if you have blocks, you can have one on either side to bring the floor up, and feel free to hold on anywhere on the leg. And once you get there, just really see if you can release through the back from the ribs all the way up through the crown of the head, and let the head dangle. Don't want to hold tension in the back of the neck. Nice deep breaths. Go ahead and walk your arms up back to your thighs. Have your hands on your thighs to press yourself back up. If you want to round up through the spine, you're welcome to do that. It's just a different option. Okay, so finally, let's do a downward dog with the chair. So you're going to step off your chair, turn it so that the back of the chair is facing you. You're going to step about the length of your legs away from the chair. And then begin to reach towards the back of the chair, and your back chair might be quite a bit higher than mine. These are extraordinarily low chairs. So you're going to hold on to the back of the chair, and then just walk your feet back a little bit at a time, bringing your trunk down until it is parallel with the ground. You want to make sure your ankles and your hips are aligned, so no going past the ankle in either forward or backward direction. Well, actually, if you want to be forward, that's okay. But we don't want to be back behind. And just let your back lengthen, reaching with the fingertips to the back of the chair for support. Let your tailbone reach into the space behind you. Open the backs of the legs. Knees should be at least a little tiny bit bent. Don't lock your knees. And this might look quite different for everyone, so just don't worry about how it looks. Just do what your body is comfortable with. And make sure that you're pulling up on that belly tissue in and upward. The ribs are creating some space between them as they reach forward. And then to come out, just start to bend your knees and walk in back towards the chair. And let's take a moment to stand with the feet about hip width apart. Hands at your sides or holding onto the chair if you need to for balance. Just close your eyes and get a sense of everything that we've done. How are you feeling now in your mental state? Your emotional state? And in your physical body? Okay, so for this next practice, I want to share with you some sounds from Qigong that will help us move qi or energy in the body, especially if it's stagnated, and will help us to reorganize it in healthful ways for each of our main organs. And of course, each of our main organs hold various emotions and the energies of various emotions and various residues to the things that we do that are toxic, whether it's just breathing pollution or eating the wrong foods or not getting enough sleep. All of those things have an effect on our system. So these Qigong sounds will help to bring balance to the system. There are different teachers who teach variations. I'm going to teach you the method I learned, but if you come across a different one and, substituting one sound for another works better for you, then feel free to do that. That's not a problem. Okay, so let's begin with the lungs. Now the lungs are associated with the element of air, or in some traditions metal. I'm going to stick with air. And the sound here that we make is like an S sound, okay? So go ahead and place your hands on your chest and focus your awareness here with your eyes closed if you're comfortable closing them. And you're going to breathe in and let go on an S. And then repeat. Now just go at your own pace. So if your breath runs out before mine, that's not important. Just keep going from one breath to the next at your own pace, and we'll meet up somewhere. Last one. And then take a moment to pause and just feel any effects on the body. Now, some of the things that you might be aware of is perhaps a feeling of dizziness, especially if you're not used to breathing in a really full way. You also might notice just some different sensations in the body, maybe an alleviation of some tension, tingling, aliveness, whatever you notice. Now the lungs are associated with grief. So if we hold a lot of grief in our body, this sound can help us to alleviate and release that grief and help bring equilibrium to our emotional body as well as our lungs. So the next sound we're going to work with is for the kidneys. The kidneys are in the back, right below the rib cage and above the sacrum. So if you have your hands spread there. Now the kidneys are associated with water, and toning in the kidney area helps with heat conditions. So fever, for example, or any kind of, in Chinese medicine, the illnesses that are associated with too much heat in the body. So we are going to make the sound shui. And with this one, it'll be lots of little short shui instead of a long sustained sound. So just repeat at your own pace with your eyes closed and just notice any sensation. One thing you might notice is how different the sound feels, the slight reverberation under the feeling of the fingertips as you make the sound. Shui, 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 shui. Last one. Shui. Good, and then relax. And again, feel and notice any sensation you have, especially in the kidney area. Now, in the traditional practice of these sounds, there are movements that go with them. We're not going to cover that today for simplicity's sake, but you can use the sounds in isolation and they work just as well. Okay, so now we're going to work with the liver and the gallbladder. So this is on the right side of the body, just under the ribs, top of the ribs. So this sound is used to treat any kind of malaise or fatigue in the body. Sluggishness happens when our liver is congested. So this can help break that up. So the sound here is a sh, like SH. Okay, so we'll make a long sustained sound as we breathe in and exhale. Ready? And repeat at your own pace. Last one. So rest and again feel into any sensation you notice around the liver or anywhere else. Now that sound of shh has associations with other parts of the body. It can be used with the head, the forehead in particular, to help quiet a very anxious or overly active mind. So it's a soothing sound if you think about it. It's a sound that mothers make to soothe their crying children, the shh sound. So you might have felt some essence of that as we practiced. Okay, so now we're going into the heart. The heart sound is a ha, H-A. So this will be a sustained sound. And you'll place your hands on your heart. Now the heart is associated with fire. And here in the Qigong, it is associated with anger as well. It can be more, like flavors of anger, like resentment and that sort of thing. So if you place your hands on your heart, we'll make the ha sound. Ready? Breathing in. At your own pace, just keep repeating. Last time. Good, resting the hands, feeling and sensing. Maybe feeling some calm or a peaceful feeling. So now we'll work with the spleen. The spleen sound is a so place your hands now on the left side of your body. You can just do double hands right over the hip bone. And these sounds are associated with cold illnesses. So anything in Chinese medicine that is ascribed to cold in the body, this sound will help to alleviate or correct that. Now, the spleen is associated with earth, so really feel the bottoms of your feet as well as the surface of whatever you're sitting on, and we'll breathe in and we'll make the sound. Ready? Breathing in. And just keep going at your own pace. And last time. Good, releasing your hands, sensing and feeling into the body. Changes in the physical state, mental state, or emotional state. So those are the healing sounds of Qigong. Very simple practice, very easy sounds to make. And I hope that you have gotten some benefit out of that. Try them again sometime. Now, we did them out loud today, but a possibility also, once you know the sounds, is to just hear them internally inside, your own mind. Just hear those sounds. So just to review, we had for the lungs, we had the s, and then for the kidneys, the ch, chwe, chwe, chwe. And then we went to the liver and the gallbladder with the sh. And so that's two organs with the same sound. And then at the heart, we had the ha sound. So, and then with the spleen, we had the. So, welcome to part 3 of our practice. It's time for Shavasana. So please move your chair and come on down to the floor. Now, if you're not comfortable on the floor, you can do Shavasana in a chair. Just sit all the way back so that your spine feels supported, and you can cover yourself with a blanket to keep yourself warm. Otherwise, come on down to the floor. We'll start in constructive rest, which is a position with the knees bent. So come on down gently. And just give your body a chance to arrive on the floor. Readjust yourself. Soften tight spots towards the ground. Feel space between each vertebra. And then relax and soften as you breathe. And then as your body starts to release some of its holdings, you might feel some muscles unwinding in the groin, in the thigh, maybe in the feet, through the back, between the shoulders, whatever you might find that can release. Once you start to feel those little unwindings, you can start to extend one leg and then the other. Now here, you may find several things are necessary for you to be completely comfortable. So take the time to make yourself comfortable. If your chin is jutting up and away from the neck, then you're going to want to place something under your head to bring it back to a neutral position. Likewise, we don't want anything under the head that's going to tilt the chin in the opposite direction. So, arrange yourself thus. And then again, if you've shifted yourself, if you have had to rearrange, then take yet another moment to release any last holdings in the body so you can give yourself completely to the floor. Breathe and relax, allowing the belly to fall back and kiss the ground beneath it with each exhale. Feel gravity rising up, floor rising up to meet you, holding you. As all of your cells release. And exchange with the breath, the old for the new. Let your old self, the self you were even just minutes ago, let that self dissolve. Let's now replace the old with the new. So with each breath, pull in clean, pure, bright light. Let this clean, pure, bright light fill every cell of every system, every organ, every fiber. From head to toe. Gently begin to move fingers and toes. Feel yourself filled with that new life, that new light. Feel your heart shining open. As you press your body into the floor and release. And again, lightly press your body and release. Taking the knees up gently and into the chest if that's comfortable for you. Rolling on the back of the spine from right to left. Falling off to one side, resting in the fetal position. And when you're ready, using that top arm and top leg, extending it out to push yourself up, rebirthing yourself into this new life, this new moment. A moment of meditation. Let's rub the hands together now to tune out. Bringing the hands to the chest with a little pocket of space between the hands to hold your intention for your day. Breathing in and release the breath. Breathing in, and we'll chant. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for joining me today for this International Day of Yoga here in the Charente. Please give generously if you can to one of the charities that we've suggested for today's event. And if you would like to know more about me, I have a website, dlcsgo.com, or you can find me on Facebook. I have a page called the Tranquil Living Tribe. Okay? Have a great day. Bye-bye.